All right, Shalom. I'll start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shemi Rashah, Shem Kakodash. Dumb honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's a brother Brawls off from Great Millstone, Atlanta. And I just have this article under the newamerican.com under the war games simulations. And it says, War game simulation shows the U.S. forces crushed by China and Russia. And it was written by, Joe Wolverton the second JD on March the 17th, 2019. And I'm going to read a little bit in this article. It says, in simulations of combat operations in various regional conflicts, RAND Corporation reports that the U.S. military would get its ass handed to it. RAND senior defense analyst David Ochsman discussed the simulations on March 7th at the Center for a New American Security in Washington, D.C. Outcomes were disconcerting, to say the least. In our games where we fight China or Russia, Blue gets his ass handed to it, not to put too fine a point on it, Ochman said, as reported by Fox News. In the simulations, U.S. forces were assigned the color blue. We lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of equipment. We usually failed to achieve our objectives of preventing aggression by the adversary. Ochman added during a panel discussion on the details of the war games. The simulated combat operation focused on reasonably predicted regional conflicts. Right, and this is all leans towards biblical prophecy, because the scriptures tells you that Babylon the Great will lock horns with Gog and Magog and Iran, as well as China also. China is going to play a major part in this Third World War, and these different nations are going to combine and they're going to shoot missiles on America. We've been saying this for a number of years, starting off with the apostles and elders on down. All right, and you have these individuals, as far as the administrative staff goes, that's actually echoing the same sentiment. So if you got people that's actually a part of the government that can actually project the end of America, and the men of the Lord that see the end of America according to biblical prophecy, how do you not realize that America is on its way out of here in this Third World War? Because World War III will come to pass. All right, it's been written in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, if I'm not mistaken, 11 and 14. 2 woes to pass, and the third world cometh quickly. All right, World War II got written. All right, World War I got written. Now America has been reigning victorious for a number of years. These current wars that engaged in, but this third war, these different nations have gained strength. And it tells you that in Isaiah the 14th chapter. And I'm going to read a little bit more in this article, and I'm going to hit some scriptures. It says, for example, according to the result of RAND computer games, if the United States deploy its military forces in the Baltic states in a conflict with Moscow, the outcome would be quick and terrible for the U.S. within 48 to 72 hours. So within 48 to 72 hours, America would basically get creamed, man. And the scriptures speak about that also in Revelation the 18th chapter. For in 1 hour, all things have come to naught. And that 1 hour is really going into when everything becomes nuclear. Because when these military forces actually come together, of course, you're going to have the troops that's going to make their exchanges. And the end all be all is them leaning towards the strongest part of their caches, which are the missiles. And it just said it, 48 to 72 hours. So there's no hope for America winning in this war. Continuing on, it says, according to the Fox News report, Ochman explained that in another theater, a Chinese invasion of Taiwan while a massively military gamble for China would also pose a huge challenge for the U.S. forces in the area. The missiles amassed by these two military powers would be turned on the forces of the U.S., and the devastation would be nearly complete and certainly debilitating, Fox News reported. Russia and China have amassed large inventories of precision-guided cruise missiles and ballistic missiles that can reach hundreds of miles and strike military targets, the research said. Set against this backdrop, U.S. military output posts and aircraft carriers in the contested regions could face a potential devastating barrage of missiles. They send salvos that are so great that we cannot intercept all the missiles. And that's also written in the scriptures. It tells you in Joel that these missiles are not going to break their rank. All right. There's nothing, no type of defense, military defense that America has up to prevent all those missiles, those, like I said, precision guided cruise missiles from Russia and China to land on these shores of America. All right. When these missiles are going to be shot out in Russia and China, they're going to be let off accurately. Scriptures say that the shooting of it is going to be in comparison to an expert archer. All right. Alchemanek said, referring to the number of missiles that will be fired at American resources in the region. Now we come to the part of the story where Rand and the reporters who revealed the frightening future of the U.S. military should it get engaged in combat with China and Russia. Here's what Fox News recommend as a reaction to the scary scenario published by Rand. For a sustained investment of an additional $8 billion a year between 2020 and 2030, the U.S. Air Force could buy the kit needed to make a difference, he said, noting that similar sums would be required for the Army and Navy. President Trump's fiscal 2020 budget plan proposes $750 billion for defense, up 5% from fiscal 2019. America's posture is also key when it comes to challenging potential adversaries such as Russia. According to Alchemanek, it's putting more combat power back into Europe and putting its own European eastern flank, he said. So, it's still a lot more on this article going into the fact of the war that's soon to take place. And everything is leaning towards America's falling. They're studying the algorithm of the war. They're studying every probability and possibility that may take place, scenarios, invasions, the theaters of war. And the scriptures already tell you where the main area where all this war is going to be fought, which is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew. And it means the Most High judgment. And I'm going to go into the scriptures. And I also wanted to just, show brothers also this. Brothers could watch it when they get the chance. You could actually type in the United States of America versus BRICS. Now, I'm not going to click it because it's going to have infringes. It's going to infringe on a copyright infringement. And they'll actually go into what would occur if the United States of America actually went on a showdown with BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, a economic union that's designed to keep their economic and industrial system afloat. And say, for instance, things would take off as far as military turmoil. These different nations actually have each other's back too. And two major countries is Russia and China, as well as Iran. These different nations that America is looking to try to play the bully. They're back. Iran is backed by China and Russia. All right. And these various other countries are backed by Russia. And the big brother of these countries are going to step in. And that's when things are going to get very, very devastating for America. So Jeremiah 50:9, for lo, I raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And what's the north country? That represents Russia. All right. When you look at the map on the eastern hemisphere, northeastward represents Russia. All right. And that's why when you read Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, which more than likely I'm not going to get, it speaks about Gog and Magog, Meshach, Tubal, and Togarmah. Those are going to be the nations that will have their hooks drawn back, and they'll be back in that ancient war style of mentality. And it's all for the devastation of this country. And it says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. When some people set themselves array, that's a military formation. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be of a mighty expert man. And we just read about how the missiles, the precision cruise missiles, if they're let off, what would happen? It would totally vanquish and destroy everything that it comes in contact with, which is America. So it says, none shall return in vain, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. And that spoil is talking about America. Verse 11, because you were glad, because you rejoice, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellows as bulls. And America rejoiced at the fall and the destroying of the Israelites. But guess what? When America falls, we're going to rejoice. Because when our nation fall, Israel, which Israel is a people before it's a place, America rejoiced. They prospered. They, had the celebrations. You have July 4th. You have all these Independence, Day, of course, where they celebrate and make merry at the fall of the Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes. So the same thing is going to occur when America falls. So verse 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. And the mother of America represents Great Britain. And you see the Brexit, which is a major thing in the news, goes into Britain stepping away from the EU. All right, and these different nations are not going to back America in this third world war. They're going to turn, as is written, these shall hate the whore, make her naked, and burn her with fire. So, this is just a lesson I have for Akim, wanting to go into, more signs and significant points of World War III. The articles prove the points, and the prophecy, as well as the prophecy of the scriptures. So I want to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Rakako Dash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone.